okay, that's it. Sign me up. I want to do this. And ended up competing in my first OCB show back in 2014. Took second place at that show. And then we PCS'd again over to Colorado that 2014. And in the end of 2014, I actually competed in the Rocky Mountain Championship, which was a local regional show. And that was pretty much the two shows that I had did in 2014 before having to just kind of put it down with my husband's job being pretty busy. And then over the years, just, some things that had come up with my health and needed to be addressed. So that took the priority. And
Wait. Well, okay, sorry. Saw something real quick. Keep going. I'm sorry.
so then once we got my health under control, I was diagnosed with an incurable blood cancer. So it's called follicular lymphoma. I was diagnosed in 2016, and went through for that particular type of cancer. It's a slow growing cancer, so it doesn't require any aggressive chemotherapy treatments. How they typically treat is through like immunotherapy. So took care of all that, had some other health issues that arose out of treatment. So it took some years, but I was finally able to kind of stabilize my health as much as I possibly could. And in 2022, I had another friend who was diving back into competing. And I went to her show and I said to myself, maybe it's a good time to start diving back into it. And 2023 is when I knuckled down and haven't stopped since. So connected with my coach in 2023. I've been with him ever since. His name's Shelby Starnes. And he and my posing coach, Kenny Wallach, they're my dream team. I call them the dream team. And so I've been with them ever since. And we've had some really good progress since working together.
Well, Shelby Starnes is one of the top guys. I've interviewed some of your stablemates, like Marilyn Yee, a couple other ladies who've been under Cyril B. One lady who's right now, she is shooting to get a pro card. That is Mary Demi, aka Miss Beefy. She's supposed to be going to North Americans. I hope to get to see her there. I mean, and Kenny Wallach, I think that guy's he is a legend of the sport. I mean, quite a few competitors. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the top posing coaches in the IFBB, and just as bodybuilding in general, not just IBNPC and other organizations.
Oh yeah, I've
And
been around since I want to say 1987. I think is how long he's been around.
yeah, that's the thing. You are in good company, madam. I would
I
say that.
and
And your diagnosis. I mean, that's tough. Cancer. I just had a lady I knew. She passed away just recently from it, and also had a relative that had gotten cancer. It's, I mean, and if we heard now the former President Biden, he is dealing with his cancer. So I think he's going to be all right. I'm praying for him. He's a good man. And just to rebound from that and still have that passion for bodybuilding. I mean, and the terminology you said, PCS, what's that? For us cities, what's that?
a permanent change of duty station. So with the military active duty for Army, we move around pretty much every 3 years. So we go to a different location, and so his job, anything I did always took kind of the back burner to what he's doing, because that his obviously being in the military, his stuff takes priority. So
Yeah. And what was where he served and what was his position?
he actually he works with the electronic systems to the electronics of the weapon systems to the Apache helicopters. Um, so he did that for quite some time, but it's at some point you kind of get away from doing like the hands-on work and you do more of the soldering stuff. So once he got away from the hands-on and became more of in a leader capacity, he was working more with soldering. So, but that's what he did as an MOS. He's been in the Apache community. I mean, even when he retired back in 2020 during COVID, he still ended up retiring and winding up in a job right back in his MOS. So he's been in the Apache community for 25 plus years.
Well, for anybody, because I have my oldest niece, my youngest nephew served in the army, and you were saying that means you were in Bragg for a bit. Actually, like I said, my family, I got family in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
My that's why I said I'm going because my older sister stayed in, my nephew. And for anybody who has served our country, I don't say thank you for your service because you're not providing a service. I say, as a citizen, I appreciate the sacrifice you made on behalf of us in this country because you do a lot more. You are sacrifice not just your time, your life, also your families. Y'all traveling here and there, and it's tough. Sometimes it's hard to gain roots when you're in the military because you never know you get called. So
Yeah.
but we do appreciate what he has done everybody for his country, and we also appreciate you for what you have done. So okay, so you're dealing with the cancer, and you decided to come back. What was that feeling like when you that first day when you got back in those high heels and the little skimpy suit?
Oh, it was kind of exhilarating, really. It was almost like, picking up something that never ever left, and it just came back naturally. But the things that it was important to me to really plug into the community. And steps that I took because considered myself still very much a newbie, even though I had competed in two shows in 2014. They did things a lot differently back then. And I mean, the last show I did in 2014, I pretty much coached myself through not knowing anything that I was doing. But fast forward back to 2023, like I said, it was like I picked up something that felt so natural. And so it felt good jumping back into it.
Yeah, I know it's something about the sport, and people look at it as a hobby, but in some aspects it's a sport. You have to train, you have to work out, you have to get ready, you have to be prepared, you have
It,
to be disciplined and consistent.
yeah, it's an entire lifestyle.
Yeah, and it's not as easy as everybody think it is. Everybody think about it bodybuilders. You pop some special pills and you just ride it and you be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. But no, there's more to it. Because
Yeah,
my competition, yeah,
you get those
especially
who think that because that there are obviously some enhancement in the industry, that they think it's some magic pill that's that's what it takes and that's what does all the trick, but they don't understand. And it's just it's you don't know what you don't know, so a lot of people just don't know a lot about the process, and there's a lot more than just enhancement um that goes into it. And if it was that easy, then everybody would look like us. It's truly not. You're still spending hours in the gym, hours meal prepping, hours with recovery, prioritizing sleep, prioritizing hydration. I mean, there's so much that goes into this sport. I mean, you truly, when I say it's a lifestyle, it doesn't run your life, but you build a life around it. So
yeah, like I know what ladies sometimes when you used to go do this, like go out with your girls at night, and you can't because you got to go to bed, so you get up and go to the gym. We go to like I know a lady told me a story where she went to a friend's. It was the daughter of a friend's wedding, and she
mhm.
had to bring her own food because she was on prep. She couldn't eat. At a wedding, it's like chicken, fish, or steak, whichever was going to eat, and she couldn't eat that because it could have. We were at a prep.
And
You
you
know,
don't how the food was prepped, to begin with, because fish is obviously sometimes we go to restaurants and stuff, we can kind of manipulate our order, to kind of fit within our macros, but sometimes you can't because you just don't know how they're preparing, what oils they're using, what extra sauces are going in. So
seasoning.
seasoning. So it just rather than going to a restaurant, because it's always I don't want to say like a big ordeal, but when you're going to a restaurant, you're trying to adjust your meals, or that you find something on the menu you think you might be able to eat, then it's like by the time you dissect everything off of it, where you're like, okay, can you take this sauce, no this, and it's just easier to bring your own meal. So
Yeah, yeah. I know it can be something. I mean, I can tell you, food can be both a tool and a weapon for a bodybuilder, and people think also what I've been told the prep and dieting part is good 6% of the process of developing growing, especially in a particular division. You're in figure where you don't need to be as big and as gigantic as some of the women in the other divisions, or as small and petite as in the others. Like, as you know, right now, if you heard recently, Tyler Mannion has now announced there's going to be some new requirements for this year's Olympia, where they have height and weight,
Yeah.
which would possibly push a lot of ladies out of figure into WPD.
Yeah. Well, I think hearing his side of that, and kind of, since we're bringing it up, I actually like the direction of that sound. Now I'm still very much a newbie. So, you might have other pro competitors who have been doing this for years who might have a difference in opinion. But when I think about the figure division and I look back to, let's say, back in 2014 when I was first getting started, when I look at the women who was inspiring me, like Nicole Wilkins, Candice Lewis, and then you look at over the years how the shape of the figure has changed so much. And a lot of these figure girls, I mean, they look every bit as big as the physique girls, some of these women. So I kind of like the idea and direction of having kind of this like height and weight ratio, because I think that I think maybe they are trying to get back to that classic figure look that has
Because
really faded over time.
yeah, because I think they create a new division because bikinis kind of changed. It's called fit model. Excuse me.
Yep.
Ha! Point. I have nothing against. I've interviewed a couple of fit model competitors. One lady I know who just turned pro a while back. I have nothing against them, but to me, I think it belongs in the NPC exclusively as a startup or novice division. I don't think it has a replacement now because once you hit that level, you're going to evolve. It's going to be hard to maintain
Yeah.
that natural supposedly look because I've just hard hearing some women from in the bikini division want to go down, and this happened with women's physique. We saw women bodybuilders go down because there's fewer shows,
Yeah.
and women needed someplace to go, and they brought those same aesthetics. And I know one lady who recently, she follows me on social media. Her name is Gabriella. She made her switch up to WPD, and I think it fits for her. Or you look at people like a lady who I got to meet a while back when I was in Tampa. She was a figure competitor. That is Ashley Jones, and
Oh,
I got to meet her. Yeah,
I
she
know.
gave me a shout out on my IG, and
Uh,
also another young competitor who also jumped all the way from figure up to women's bodybuilding. That is, Paula Ranta, and this was last year when she was competing at the Tampa Bay Pro. It's the evolution of athletes over time. I think, especially younger athletes, they can really grow.
oh yeah. Yeah, it becomes as you get a little older and you're a master's athlete. I hate to use that. I don't like to use age as an excuse because I think anybody can start anything at any age. I'm that person that if you're still above this side of the ground, you still got time to do whatever it is that you want to do. Um, but where was I going with that? See, the food thing, that's the other thing. When you're like lacking in calories, one minute you've got a thought, the next minute,
Prep brain, prep brain. I know it's also we get like I'm like now I'm 51 years old, I'll be 52 in the next few months, and we get to that mindset. Like I walk into a room and say, "Why I come in here for?" I mean, I
so
mean,
you get the brain fog.
yeah. I mean, I call it old timers. I mean, I picked it one time. This is a true story. I went to my post office to get my mail,
Mhm.
and I bought my sister's truck because I don't have a car of my own, and I'm like, wait a minute, where's my house keys? And then I went back, and the lady at the post office said, "Oh, here you go. Your house keys. You left them in the in the door." I said, "What? I did that twice."
Oh,
That's,
twice for the third time.
yeah, I'm blessed. God bless him. He walked. That old saying, "God watch out for fools and babies." And I think I'm a fool.
Yeah,
So
right there with you.
so yeah. So now after your diagnosis was clean, so you get back into it. You did a couple of shows, and then you finally get your pro card.
Yep.
What was that experience like? Because you did North Americas a couple of times, but you got your pro card at Pittsburgh, but at the Masters Nationals.
So I'll take you down my rabbit hole. So I ended up my first regional show was up in Woodbridge. It was the Max Muscle. I did take first overall in that event, and that of course qualified me for the national level shows. I went on in 2024 and I did Masters Nationals. I took second place there. I had in I, I was intended to do the North American Championship. However, I had to pull out of that show. One of our fur pups, we had to put him down in 2024. So that was really rough. And when you're in at the end of a kind of like your stage prep, some people might try to find that strength to kind of muscle, just get through it and do the show. Me, I was just like, I was a mess after we had to put him down. I was like, I couldn't focus on the show anymore. So I ended up pulling out of the North Americans, kind of hanging things up for the year. I was done at that point. And then 2025, that's when we went back to Masters National. We took first overall in the I want to say it was almost in not first overall in all of them, but I took first in most of my age categories. I was registered, I think, in two age categories, and then I took a first overall, which obviously qualified me for my pro status. And last year we had similar situation happen where I was like, okay, now I want to dive into I was going to make a pro debut last year. I was ready to do it. But we had one of our other fur puppies that we had to put down again. So, and they were both, they were around the same age. So knowing that, I knew it was going to be one of those things that when they both, were going to pass, they're probably going to pass close together. And they were about a year apart. So I had a couple shows I was registered for to do a pro debut last year and just pulled out of them again because I was a mess. And when I have stuff like that goes on, my family and things like that that's going to take priority over any show that I ever do. So, shows will be there. The stage will always be there. But these moments that I get to share with my family, especially when it's, during a time of grief, I'm going to pull back and I'm going to, be with my family. And of course I needed that moment for myself too, because it was really hard on all of us. And then this year, when I started looking at shows for this year, I didn't know with Max Fit, from what I heard backstage, this was probably the biggest Masters event that I could have registered for a pro debut. And I didn't know that originally when I had signed up for it. Obviously, when you see the prize money that's associated, you know that it's going to attract a lot of athletes. So I knew it was going to be pretty competitive. I didn't realize that they were going to be, when we talk about top tier level pros there, that was probably almost, it was an incredible experience overall. But for me to be to sit backstage with people like Sandy Lark, I had to tell her backstage, I was like, you're trying not to fangirl, because you're a pro, and these are your peers that you're, on the line with being judged against. And it's like, I'm inside, like I've, just screaming like a little kid in a candy shop inside. Cause I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm standing next to Sandy Lark and I'm like, in D Jackson, how does this even happen? So the 45, so with 45 and over, I did get a first call out with those ladies. So just to get that was a huge win for me. Just to get that, I told myself, I said, looking at the lineup, I was like, okay, I know I'm not going to win, but I am going to show up and I'm going to prove that I deserve a place among these women. And I think that the outcome, we did just that. I feel like we did just that.
Yeah, I didn't saw the show. I saw the pictures because a couple ladies in that class you were in, Tracy Miller, better known as Madame Laveau, she's been a guest on my channel. Ryan Martin, she's also been a guest, and she just did she did the Tampa no more than a week or so ago before that. I know the lovely Miss Jackson. I've been trying to get her on my channel. I think she has a beautiful smile. She has a beautiful physique.
She's a beautiful soul in general. Just being backstage with her, um, her spirit and her light. She's an incredible woman. You can tell. You can just tell she loves everybody.
Also, is coming up in And if just another like, and I would say another, I think 6 more weeks is another show, which is going to be in my backyard, North Carolina, which is the Queen City in Charlotte. And I'm
I'm gonna.
thinking of, oh, you'll be there? Well,
Oh,
I'm thinking about going because, like I say, Charlotte's only, where I live is Robinson County. I'm only 2 hours away from Charlotte.
oh, you stay.
Yeah, yeah, I hadn't been to Charlotte in a long time. And you know what? I just got to wait to see how things look finances after this trip. And if I have, everything's good, and I have enough left over, I just need, all I need, like I said, I just need to rent a car, and
Yeah,
everything else I can take care of.
yeah.
I most definitely, I, I personally, I would like to go to the show where they have women's bodybuilding and women's physique and more of the other divisions, but I will. This is be a great show to support. They do have a Charlotte Pro, but it's no Charlotte Pro. Pushed out figure about a couple years ago. I don't care as much about bikini and those other divisions, and I'm not a big. I'm not. I respect the guys, the banana hands, boy shorts, but I'm not a big fan. Well, folks, I got this video that I found. Is I always ask for information so I can research a little bit before I do interviews, and it's an interview that she did after she got a pro card. So, folks, you want to check it out? This is great. This lady, what she's been through, her story of passion. I allow respect for women like herself who get into the sport of bodybuilding.
All right, everyone, we're here at the 2025 Teen Collegiate Master Nationals for our last overall. And we are here with the 35 and over figure overall champion. What's your name?
Christina Mary.
Christina, congratulations.
Thank you.
How excited are you?
I am extremely excited. I've worked very hard for this, and it's like a dream come true right now.
Oh, how long have you been competing for?
Well, I actually started back in 2014, did a couple shows. My husband was active duty, so I took a break, and now I'm back in it. So back in it as of 2023. So
Very
excited
nice.
to see where I'm going to go.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
So what's the game plan? You're going to do a pro show or you're going to take an off season?
I'm going to probably possibly dive in and do a pro show just to get my feet wet and then go into an off season and grow.
Very cool, very cool. And do you have anybody that you want to thank for this?
First, my Lord and Savior, Jesus. Without him, I couldn't do this. And then I want to thank my coaches, my family, the support that I have from the community. There's too many to thank.
Aww. Well, we're very excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you on the pro stage.
All right. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you. Congrats.
Congratulations. I mean, it's an experience. What you've been through your diagnosis, other stuff, and to achieve a goal that you've been doing it because you, like I said, you've been doing it for a long time before, but then sit back, have to recover, pop back in, and then you go to Pittsburgh, you get that pro card. What was going through your head when they told you you're now IFBB pro?
That was the best few words I ever heard in my life. And when I said in that interview, it's like a dream come true. When I originally started competing, of course, it was the dream of becoming an IFBB pro figure competitor. And, when life starts to happen, and you start to experience all these setbacks, and it's just, maybe you're experiencing one setback, or maybe you're like me and you start seeing setback after setback after setback, and you're starting to see your goals and your dreams slip further and further and further away from your grasp. And that can feel very defeating and just disappointing, because you've got what you want out of life, and now you've got these circumstances that are out of your control that you got to step away and you got to take care of yourself. So I really didn't think I was ever going to be able to compete again. And when you receive a diagnosis like that, you also wonder. And then, of course, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, a dysautonomia. So, I have all these other stacked up health issues that I'm trying to best manage also around, because my recoveries, I don't bounce back like the average person. So I probably take a lot more breaks and rest than the average person, because my body can't handle or hang with some of the intensity that maybe some of the, somebody who may not have pre-existing health conditions. But to be able to go through all of that and finally be able to step back on stage and then to get a pro card, it made winning so much more sweeter when you know there were so many other hurdles that you had to jump over to get there. It made it so much more rewarding. So I was shocked. I felt like I knew we had it, but I mean, when you hear those words, your new IFBB pro, I mean, you're in sticker shock. I'm like, me? I did it? Oh my gosh. But, you know, everything that I do, you know, I have a friend who she shared the saying with me that we bring attention to us so that we can bring attention to God. And, you know, everything that I do for this stage, the most important thing to me is, and the foundation of it all is God, because I could not do this without him. And he is my foundation. And the stuff, you know, for me, when I go through a prep, it's being able to see God in all the details. And I've got some incredible little stories too about my competitor numbers and the significant, you know, the meanings behind those competitor numbers. I'll go look up like what the angelic number means. And it's pretty, I mean, they've been pretty spot on. So it's like just seeing God show up in all the details, how he carries you through it. And for me, it's a learning experience. You know, in life, I'm known as a bodybuilder, but in spirit, I'm known as a daughter of God, and first and foremost. So the fact that, you know, God has aligned something that I love so much, this is just how good he is. It's like he aligned something that I loved so much and met me in it. And when he met me in it, well, I had to invite him in first because I was going at it alone. And when I sat down and I made this my covenant with him, the stuff that he has showed me, I love what he has revealed about me, the healing that has taken place, not necessarily, you know, from a health standpoint. I probably say a little bit of a health standpoint because obviously I'm kind of like in a stable, you know, situation, but it's also the, you know, I've been through a lot in life. I mean, a lot in life. I didn't have, you know, I didn't have the best childhood, and, you know, getting into my early adult years, found myself into a, you know, pretty abusive relationship. So, I mean, I've come with a lot of trauma. So, last year was the biggest breakthrough that I had, because every morning when I was doing my devotionals, it, you know, just how God was transforming me, how he was healing me of those traumatic experiences things that I wasn't letting go. And the minute he healed and I was able to let those go, I mean, the amount of flourishing that I have done since this year has been probably the best prep season for me out of all of them. And it's just because of the intentionality that I put behind my time with God and making sure that he is there every step of the way.
Yeah. And one thing is, I'm not a very religious person, but I do have faith. I believe God do things through reason. I remember my brother passed. You know, it's been like 23 years since my older brother James passed. He was the one who really got me into bodybuilding because he was my big brother. My parents were together for a long time, but they were still legally married. But you know, my dad was living in New Jersey and we was here in North Carolina. And he was like, for me and my younger brother, my younger nieces and nephews, he was the father figure of our family. And he used to play football in our hometown. And he used to always get the muscle mags. And you know, and we were country boys. We didn't have a lot. We were lifting weights with cinder blocks and wood and wood. And you know, he really was one of the people that really inspired me when I got into this, because not just because of what I admire about the competitors, but also about you ladies. Kind of. But I'm not going to detail too much of that one. But I remember when he died, someone told me, said,
I'm so sorry.
yeah, someone told me, said they needed a good worker. My brother was a good worker. God needed a good worker. He needed the angels. He chose them. And sometimes, you know, there'll be times things you feel like you broke, but you will never be broken. You know,
Yeah.
God makes a way. I remember the story I heard of a man who was walking the sand, and he said to God, God, where were you when I needed you? And he said, my son, I was walking beside you. But those times you couldn't walk, I was carrying you. And that's why you only see one pair of foot plates because I was carrying you along the way. And that's the thing. It's good to have that, especially with bodybuilding. This sport can be so much
Yep.
immensely effective between your mind, your spirit, your body, your overall, also the big financial part of it.
Oh,
Because yeah, that is the thing that sticks. Because unlike other sports where okay, if you do a pro sport, you can make a living off of it. But bodybuilding is more of a, how about, shout out to my man Big Keith Williams. I pray for him too. He's going through some stuff himself. It's a give and take. Sometimes you're going to be, how you say it like this, you're sometimes paying Peter. You still don't Peter to pay Paul.
yep. Yep. It is. It's definitely and that's what's kind of funny. That's the inside joke between me and my husband is he's the one who got me into going to the gym because he said it was free, because when you're active duty, you could just go work out on the gyms on base. So it was free. So, he didn't know, fast forward, where are we at now? Fast forward, I started in 2009, 2020. I don't know.
17 years.
17 years later. And, I'm picking in his pocket for my,
Get your hand in my pocket. I want to pay some kids, and I pay for you. It's cheaper to keep her. It's cheaper to keep her. Man. But that's the thing is, it's a passion, and it's a sport, and also it's a passion because we get involved in it. You have to understand. I was talking with one lady, the lovely IFBB Pro Carrie Gary. She hears in my hometown, North Carolina, also, and she's a very religious, faith-based lady, and you have to count every little dollar when you do this. But here's the thing of it. The ladies I talk to say that, hey, you do a show, you might get, like with Tracy, she got at least $10,000 for the 40 plus, and another extra thousand here for the first places in the other classes.
Back her season just about.
Yeah, just about. Well, here's the thing is, she did at least, this before this, she did at least 3 shows earlier. She went to Portugal. She went to China. That honestly, I don't think she might get a little bit of it back, but not this much back, because you got to.
Yeah, when you think of the cost to go overseas, my goodness, I can't imagine. You look at the flights to go over there. I mean, obviously, a lot more expensive traveling to go compete in shows overseas than when you're doing them, here locally in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. The lady who I follow, she is a physique competitor. She comes for, I think, Slovakia, one of those countries. She's going to be in Houston. That's going to be her 11th show of the year. Wow. She just did the Arizona Pro Rising Phoenix weekend. She did the Triple O early this year. She did Puerto Rico, Georgia, Alabama, Toronto, a couple of shows in South America, Texas, and now she's doing Houston. She's been on multiple Olympian, and this is 11 shows. And I think last year she did like 14.
Dang.
And I'm like, who is paying for this? I mean,
if she's competing in the open, obviously the difference between competing in open versus masters is in the open, you don't have to pay for those registration costs. And, as a masters competitor, they still have where you've got to pay for your registration. So if she's diving, I mean, there's still other expenditures outside of the registration, but not having to pay for a registration certainly helps recoup some of the money that, you might have spent and can now apply it towards something else.
Well, her last 2 shows, she was in the 6th, 7th, and 8th, which means you don't get no money in that. If you can get some money in the 1st and 2nd, yeah, but she might have some sponsors, because some competitors do have sponsors, and that helps cover costs. Like, are you sponsored yourself?
No, not yet. I think I got some more time I probably need to put in, and that's why this year is important, because these last few years since 2023, I've kind of been, because of obviously having the hiccups with having to put my dogs down, I've just been kind of like a one and done show each year. So 2023, 2024, and 2025, I just did one show and that was it. This year we stacked it for 3 shows. Next year, when I do go into that planning, I do want to try to plan where my shows are going to be more closer together. Because I would like to compete. If I'm doing 3 shows this year, I'd like to at least dive into like maybe 5 next year. So as long as I can space them to where they're a little bit closer together, I definitely would be interested in doing a lot more shows, because I definitely want to get my face, my name, get out there, and I want people to look at me and say, who is this girl and where did she come from?
Yeah, I would say since you're in Virginia, you're not too far from Georgia. There's the Atlanta Pro. There's the another show. I think there's the Body B one that's in Alabama.
Yep.
There's also Tampa, which is the biggest show, and also they do Masters. You got Daytona's coming up, but right now you're focusing on the World Championship, and there's also the Hurricane. There's the Atlantic Coast, which does Open and Masters, and there's quite a few shows within that area.
There's one more that I haven't talked to my coach yet about it, but it's on my radar. It's the Maryland Night of Championship. So, but that one, I have to see how my body's feeling, of course, after I get through the October 17th show. But if I'm feeling pretty good, I am definitely not opposed to looking at that show. That would probably be my one last show for the year. And I would love to go do it. I think this is the second year that they're doing this show. The first year they rolled it out was last year. So it's something that I'm interested in doing. And it would only, at that point, I'm already extending out my prep. So I look at it and I'm like, what's another 4 weeks, after doing 26 weeks of prep. So we'll see. I got to talk to my coach about it, see what he thinks. It just might be probably wiser, to be honest. It can be easy to get caught up into the excitement too, of doing all these shows, but you do have to be smart about it too, because for me, I still need size. The feedback I'm getting is more density in my back, which I've gotten that feedback for the last 2 years in a row. So I know my back is something that we need to bring up. So it might be worth closing up the season after October 17th so that I could have a, pretty good extended off season to pack on some size.
Mm-hmm. And you can pop in to the mid season of next year, where you gives at least another good 3 or 4 months to really grow a little bit, because that's what's important about growth, especially in the figure division, where you don't need as much size to look at physique and women's bodybuilding. You need condition. You want that nice tapered waist. You want that width in your back. You want that great depth. I've been interviewing quite a few figure competitors. How they told me how one lady explains it. You want like that upside down Dorito look. You want the broad shoulders. You want a nice taper. Everything comes in together.
Actor.
Yeah. So, folks, while we get Christina here, we're going to do this. We're going to jump into her social media for a little bit. If you're so interested in supporting her, interested in helping her out on anything from cost or expense of travel to entry fees, she really wants to get herself out there, wants to be active. But guys, I'm telling you this is from me to you. This is a nice lady. She's been through hell and high water. Be respectful. Nothing weird. Her husband used to arm helicopters with missiles.
That's
what
right.
are you thinking about? It's gonna be like that thing, True Lies. You might see a man see the so just be respectful. Reach out and genuine interest. So we're gonna jump into social media. I want to check out the link in the description of the live. Here she is, and this is from the Max Fit. What was that experience like for you? I mean, this was your first pro show.
Even though it was 5 hours behind, I know that's not typically, how things are run. The show ended up when they did the athlete brief. They told us, I want to say 3 weeks leading up to the show, they had 50 competitors, 50 pro competitors registered, and then all of a sudden, at the last minute, everybody got registered, and there ended up being, I think, 370 plus competitors. So that's kind of why they got a little bit behind, and they were also running the NPC amateur show as well on that same day. So I think next year what they're looking at doing is kind of breaking it up into a 2-day show. But overall, my experience for it, I mean, it was the best experience that I could have had as a first pro debut. Just the people I got to meet, network with, the people I got to stand next to, people that inspired me. I mean, all of it was just an absolute dream come true. And I was at more peace. I thought I was going to be extremely nervous, but this was probably the most peace that I had been at leading into a show than I have ever been at. So, but as far as the experience, trying to think if there's one thing that I could take away that I had learned out of it, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now. But I would say it would probably just be continuing to dial in the posing, because when you are competing at this level and coming into this first pro debut for me, obviously I had an idea on the lineup ahead of time. But at this level, everybody is showing up looking amazing. So what's going to stand and make a difference is in the posing. And so that's something that I've been prioritizing since I dove back into this in 2023, trying to find that right posing coach, and which we ended up doing, but taking that posing really, really seriously. But this incredible sponsors, let me tell you, I mean, the athlete goodie bags, I mean, they were on point. I mean, they were passing out full size products. We got you could pick a custom stitched hat or a custom backpack. I mean, they really loaded us up. They took good care of us, and you can see that the attention that they put into this show, regardless if it went 5 hours over or behind. I know that there's a lot of people who's probably going to complain about that. I look at all those types of experiences, and those are all learning moments. They test us and we learn from them. But you can tell their level of attention that they put into this, how committed they are to these athletes, and just putting on a good show and getting good sponsors who's gonna, take care of and give, freebies out. I mean, it was incredible. It really was.
Yeah, because I know Rachel Jaffe, who I had a guest on here previously, she competed there in women's physique. Ryan told me, because I remember I saw one thing somebody posted that there's one dude, he was going to do Texas Pro that weekend, and then he decided to do this show. And I think people underestimate the Masters competitors because next year is going to be the Masters Olympia. I'm wondering where you're going to have it at, because I'm hearing might be Pittsburgh, it might be Orlando, or it might be someplace else. Because the last time they had it in Japan, I interviewed a couple of ladies after that show and a few ladies after the show. It was a great experience, but the problem was that promoter, he kind of messed up.
I heard all about that.
Yeah.
Are you referring to kind of like the payout issue?
Yeah, because one of the ladies I interviewed, I interviewed Tiana Flex. She won women's bodybuilding, and I interviewed her and her husband. Shout out to Tony. They were there. I interviewed that day before they competed, and we had to, because they're in Japan. They're like totally. That's like I think about 15, 14-hour time difference. I had to get up early in the morning to do it, and because they got to catch up in the afternoon for them. That was like late evening, early evening, and you got to think about it. You compete, you train, and you. This is, even though it's not the big part of the sport, but it's something that's it's a bonus to get a little prize money. And then you sit around, the promoter is supposed to pay you out for your time, but instead, hey, he's dragging. So the guy who runs the Olympia, who owns the Olympia, Jake Wood, I gotta get shot. Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. He stepped in.
Care of the athlete, because he absolutely showed up for them on that. He paid them.
Jake. Yeah, because Jake was the guy who came in. He said women's bodybuilding. We just had the Rise Fiends weekend / Arizona Pro, where it's the solo, one of the handful of women bodybuilding shows, female bodybuilding shows in the sport. There's the Triple O that's ran by one of my favorite people, and it's not to me. And Arnold, he pushed out figure from his show, and even figure started losing shows bit by bit. And I'm looking here, she has I think for a woman of her, for what she's been through, you again, ma'am, you have an amazing body.
Appreciate that. One of the things that I appreciate, even though I'm considered, still one of the probably smaller athletes that's out there. I appreciate the plan that my coach has me on, because the growth that we've had since 2023 together, everything has stayed very well balanced and proportionate. So I just keep adding that density in my back, and I'm telling you, next year I'm going to come back and crush some things.
Yeah, I mean, you look like you're doing pretty good. The pull-up is a great way to help with your back. I hadn't done pull-ups since high school. And training is very important in development, especially when you are a mature competitor, because you know what, you can't bounce back as quick as someone who's like, Paula's age, who's not even, how I say it, she's still wet behind the ears and breast smell like Similac.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, what's the favorite part about what's the thing that you like when you go into the gym and when you work out? What's that favorite thing you love to do? You say, you know what, it's a good day. I'm ready to do it. And then one say, no, I don't want to do this. Well, I know I gotta do it, but I don't want to do it.
The one that I don't want to do is back. And that's probably why I keep getting the feedback that I get. Back day is probably my least favorite. Legs have actually come up as one of my favorite, but my strongest is probably my chest and shoulders.
Well, man, whenever I hear somebody say they love leg day, you're sick, Mac. Yeah, this is one sick person who said they love leg day. You're a sick freak.
Yeah, so leg day has become my favorite. Chest and shoulders are definitely my strong points, and back is probably the one that I'm just like, I have a gym partner I work with, and we laugh because every time we finish a back day, I'm like, okay, that damn snake's going to come back next week, and we keep trying to kick it away, but it just keeps coming back. So yeah, every week back day keeps coming back. So I have a back day split, and then on another day I end up doing only pull-ups. So we do anywhere from 12 to 15 rounds of pull-ups. So, and that's what's really, honestly, that is what's really helped my back grow to the point where it's at right now. I always tell them the growth that we see in my back, I'm like, it's those pull-ups. I know it's all those pull-ups I do.
Yeah. Well, we have here a comment. Shout out to my man here. This is I call him my nephew. This is my man Jeff here. That's the wrong person. This is Deaf Jeff. Jeff is from he says, "Hey George, be safe on the trip. I wish you good luck." Shout out to Jeff. Thank you, brother. Also, he says, "Hey Christina, I think all people should be merry and happy in life." Yes. Yes. The last thing. You ever hear somebody says, "Merry Christmas, Kristen"?
I was getting ready to bring that up. Let me tell you, especially around the holidays, every now and again, I will get it like throughout the year. Someone will look at my ID and be like, "Hey, this is close to Merry Christmas." And I'm like, yeah, it is. And I get it all the time.
Yeah. And that's your husband's name. That's not your name. That's his.
Right. I married into that name.
Say, hey, you can always use your maiden name, but you know what? You're a very respectful woman. You want to be a very respectful woman. That's how it is. We respect a woman who's respectful to a man. And it's good that he supports you and your family. Like, what's it like? Like you said, with the information I got, but you have some kids. How old are your kids, and how many you got?
So I have 3 children. They're all grown. My oldest, hold on, I got to do some math in my head.
Okay.
How old am I?
Don't do math when you got prep brain.
Yeah, I know. Right. So, so I ended up having him when I was 17 years old. So if I'm 45, 55.
That makes
62. So, oh wait, I'm going in the wrong. See, yep, prep brain. I'm going.
So
wrong.
okay, you have him 17. You're 45 now. That means he is.
I think he's 27.
18. He's actually 27. 27.
Yeah.
27 about 20. And the other one.
My middle is 22, and then my last is 18. So
18.
And then me and my married for 19 years now. Well, January will be 19 years. We've been together for 20. And he has been, when I say literally my rock, and like he is, besides God, he is my biggest supporter. And it's not just the finance piece, it's the everything. It's the emotional piece, it's the mental piece, he's the one who's got to hear, when I'm laying up at night, and calories are low, he's the one who's got to hear, I'm hungry, babe, I'm so hungry. Like, he's like, I know you are, I'm so sorry, there's nothing I can do. And I hate putting him in that position because he is a very loving man and he wants to give me everything my little heart's desires. So if food is what I want, he's going to give it to me, but he also understands what I'm doing right now. So, he has a little bit of the tough love that I need as well. So, sometimes he has to tell me, you don't have permission to eat that. And, or my favorite thing that he tells me is, you can quit tomorrow. So when prep gets hard, and sometimes I might be ready to be in tears, he tells me, and it's almost like that little thing I need to hear, to get me through another day. But he'll look at me and he'll say, Christina, you can quit tomorrow. And then tomorrow gets here, and then he says the same thing, quit tomorrow. So
yeah. You got a good man. I mean, that's good. And I think his military background really helps with the regimental, with your training, and you need that. And and my mother, she was 16 when she had my older sister. My older sister is 68. My mother would have been 84 this year. My mom passed in 2020. She was 80 when she passed, so that's 6 years ago. And she would have been, she would have been 86 this year. And she had to raise my brothers, sisters, and and she went through stuff too herself, but she was a strong woman and she had to do what she had to do as a woman. And I can, as a boy, we love our mothers. Our mothers are, a boy's best friend is his mother. You're the first woman in our lives. We can go on and have a wife and a girlfriend, but you only have one mother. If you lose her, you can never get her back. And I remember somebody told me a long time ago, I was working at this place I used to work at. And they said to me, George, you stay with your mama, son? I said, yes, ma'am, I do. I said, well, son, stay with your mama as long as you can. Do what you got to do as a man, but come back home to your mama. I know they support you. Have they ever been to any shows, your children?
So I'm trying to think. Not these last few shows. I believe my daughter got to come with me to one show. But they want to come with me to the shows, but with us, we do still have one small pup here. He's not a puppy, he's a senior dog. So now that we have grown kids, it's more like mommy and daddy get to go travel and have fun. Now they get to stay home and dog sit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Y'all stay here. We're gonna do some grown up stuff now. So y'all, because they're grown now. They're grown. See, he's 18. The 18 one, he's still wet behind the ears and breath like Cinemax. So remember, you gotta beat him down. Put him in his place. He's it's funny how I remember my mom for a long time. She was sick for a good bit. And there was sometimes I was sitting, and just sitting talking. And sometimes I tell her, I used to joke with her. I said, Mama, ain't I a man, Mama? Ain't I a man? She no, you're my baby. I'm a man, Mama. I'm a man. But it's good that you have. Yeah, I like I said, I'm the middle son. See, this is how I look like. I'm the middle son. I have 3 older sisters. My older brother James, my younger brother Larry. My father had a son before he married my mother, and a daughter after he broke up. But I'm the middle son, and as you know, with the middle, we have to fight for our love, Mama. We got to fight for our love, because because the oldest, that is. When the firstborn, you are father's pride. When the baby, your mother's the last. And when in the middle, you have to fight every day for love. So anyway, go back to the story. But yeah, I mean, take that time. If you feel like you need to take that time and say, you know what, you can always shoot for next year. And then bodybuilding is, where I've had conversations with ladies that tell me it's not a race, it's a marathon. You want, especially when you're a much mature, older competitor, you want longevity. It's one thing if you look at someone like Paula, someone like Lena Rumsteiner, one of the ladies I think who's probably maybe the most senior in the Olympia is Jessica Reyes Padilla. And and look at her. I mean, she was active last year, but now I think she could step back. And you want to be smart, because this sport can be physically a drain. It's one thing I remember when I was a younger man, I had 2 jobs. I get up in the morning, go to work, leave work, go to my other job, come back home, wake up, boom. Then I did that again, holding 2 jobs. I was in my early 40s. It's like, it's just like, Everything pain.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Um, what's your question to that?
There's no question. I was talking. I
Oh,
don't, I don't throw a lot of questions. I have a conversation.
okay,
We have a conversation back and forth.
like going to be a follow-on question that I need to answer on that,
Nah,
but
my style is I ask questions. I like to ask questions, but I like to have a conversation. A good
I
back, like it's like a first date. Get to know somebody.
yeah, I do like that because it was actually less overwhelming feeling for me. This being my first time on a live broadcast like this, it was less overwhelming to be able to hear. We're just going to have a conversation, and that's exactly what it has felt like. So
I've been doing this. Like I said, I've been doing this for over. Well, I've been doing interviews for the past 5-6 years, and I've been doing this channel for around. It's been around for 7, and really, I learned this. And my job, I worked with women for a long time. I worked gas station with women. I worked at a textile with women. I worked in a gentleman's club with women. And I learned
mm,
that you want to have good, comfortable conversation with a lady. You
yeah,
want to make them feel comfortable. I don't want to get in so much into your business, but I want to have a good back and forth. So, like, sometimes when I have conversations with you ladies, I find things in common. I can tell you something about myself. Like, 12 years ago, I had a heart attack when I was 39 years old.
oh my gosh,
Yeah, and I was working in a job, and I thought I was sick. I thought I was just a little under the weather because I used to work at, Smithfield's that's clear across the other side of, where of where I live at.
hmm,
So I said, what, let me go ahead and go. If I go all the way home, that'd be another 50, 60 miles. So I said,
right,
what, let me go to my sister's house in Fayetteville. That's closer. So
hmm,
I go to my sister's house and said, you're not looking right. Go see some checkout. So I go to Highsmith Rainey. That's around the corner. They found something in blood and they sent me to Cape Fear Valley.
oh my,
I was there for about a week in the cardiac unit.
wow,
And then after I got back, I seen specialists in Fayetteville, and then seen specialists in UNC. The specialist in UNC told me, said, Miss MacArthur, it really got serious when I was talking to the Indian doctor. Said, Mr. MacArthur, your heart pressure is very low. And then it got really serious when the British doctor came in and said, oh, Mr. MacArthur, we must have to do surgery immediately. And I got my pacemaker,
oh,
about 12 years ago. And I can tell you, it's hard when you have to be more careful with your life and have to
yeah,
change some things. And while I was taking care of my mom, after she passed, I was at 500 pounds, just about at
wow,
it, because taking care was a lot. And doing this content helped some of my mindset, but my body's another thing. And then I had to check up a while back. I'm at 412 right now.
all right. So
And
you're going in the right direction.
good right, but I'm not perfect. Because before I had an interview, I had some egg rolls and yeah, like especially I ask these questions, especially when you're on that long prep, Christina, I call you, and you're starving. What's that thing that you desire? That thing that my other guy would say, make you stranger, or make you stronger. What was that you desired the most, Christina?
Food wise, what do I desire? So let me tell you my thing. And this people might look at me like I'm absolutely have lost my mind. But if I smell food, if I look at food, if I buy food for other people, scrolling Instagram reels of food totally cures my cravings. Like just to see it, smell it, buy it, give it to somebody else, I'm okay. That's me. It works for me. But that one thing I will tell you, at each show, I always look at the area I'm going to be at because I'm a foodie. Don't get me wrong. I might do this as a lifestyle, but I love food just like everybody else. And I have a sweet tooth. Mine, I love my sweets. But when I start looking at like places to go, I always start looking at almost like the same foods. It's either burgers or pizza. Um, and then like this time I've been craving donuts and fritters. Oh my gosh, like nobody's business. But last year I was all about the chocolate cake. Give me the thickest, richest, biggest chocolate cake that there is. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, my mom used to make some good home cooked cakes. Be like about 6, 7 layers.
Uh-huh.
She'll get chocolate icing, or she'll get white icing, or sometimes we grew up poor country. We either get jelly and do like a
Yeah,
jelly cake, and it was sweet. It
I
tastes
bet.
good. Oh, I mean, I should be careful because I'm pre-diabetic also. So and
Oh
I
yeah.
know, yeah, because I know quite a few bodybuilders who are foodies. They love it, and it's good to enjoy it once in a while.
Yes.
Get that little taste of it,
You got
but then after
to
a while, take a break.
Yep, you got to hop back on. One of the things, actually, maybe we can discuss this like in a later, one day down the road. Maybe we can even recap Pittsburgh together. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like I said, I'm going to be there for a good bit. What sometimes what I do is I have a thing. I do this about next Monday. I've suspended it. I have a thing called Muscle Talk Mondays, and we have a discussion panel. Me and some guys who talk about things. And if you are available around that time, that Monday when I'm still in Pittsburgh, because I'm only leave to Tuesday, maybe we can
Monday.
have a little conversation. We can do it live like we did this one because I know you might be in your
Okay.
place, I'll be in your place. We do that, and we can have some people on there as guests talk about it because I'm excited because I'm gonna tell you this. I'm a poor country boy from North Carolina. The farthest I've been up north in my life, man, was Virginia, and that was almost 27 years ago. But I've been to Atlanta, I've been to Tampa, I've been to Florida quite a few times, and this for me, it's just I've asked some people like, you've been to Pittsburgh quite a lot. What's a great place if you want to just take a look around, like if you're a tourist?
So they have, unfortunately, because I've only been to Pittsburgh for competitions, I'm only there for such a short time that I haven't gotten out a lot to do much of anything that's in Pittsburgh, what it has to offer. But one of the things that I see trending is I think it's like the Sky Incline. It's like a trolley that takes you up, and then you can see like. So I would probably say, are you afraid of heights? Because I see how you're like. That's like things where you're probably going to get the most breathtaking view of Pittsburgh. So if me and my husband can kind of swing that one, I'd like to try to get over and do that incline. So and
Well, my big brother James was a big Pittsburgh fan. I might go if it's not too far from where I'm staying at before I leave out. I might go check out their football field and take a
oh
picture, and just say I might put something on my. It's just my big brother would love to been here. He
yeah,
would love to been here. I mean, I was a Chicago Bear fan when I was younger, but he was more Pittsburgh. You know,
yeah,
but yeah, I think I'm really excited because I know some ladies who follow my channel who know I'm coming. They're really excited to get to meet me. This is a thing. I'm like shout out to one of my dearest friends. She's been supporting me. Her name is Eunice. She runs a country called Bad Rap. If you heard of Bad Rap, and Bad Rap, their moniker is big and defined, ripped and pump, and like the red pump part. And she's really supporting me because she gave me this jersey. It's a really cool jersey. I get to wear.
ooh,
Yeah, I'm gonna wear this. I'm wearing for because I'm going to check out the. As you know, my channel is about you ladies, and I'm going to check out the women's physique, women's bodybuilding, and also figure part of the North Americans. No offense to the guys, I'm not a big fan of the band handmade boy shorts, and I'm gonna go check out also the Masters Championship because I'm big. Quite a few of my people I interview are master competitors. Because y'all more. I think it's more like I think with being that we're in the same age with some of these ladies,
yeah,
and more comfortable talk about things. And I've had quite a few young competitors, but I think with the master competitors, it's like easy to talk to because we can talk about things we understand.
yeah.
And as again, I talk about my friend. As you say, you got to meet your legend, Sandy Larkin. One lady who with my first Bible show was 2022. That was Savannah, and one lady I got to see live was Andrea Shaw.
Oh, I've met her a couple times too. Yeah, she's
Yes, because if we go back real quick, folks, to her IG, and there's a video I'm going to pull up real quick if I can find it real quick, and she's doing a pose in center with she don't know it, but she's my girlfriend, and you got to meet her. She got to touch you,
uh,
and
I've got that's another thing. Anybody who's wanting to get into bodybuilding, I'm telling you, like plugging into the community, going to different like posing workshops, that has hands down been like one of the biggest blessings because most of these posing workshops are completely free. You might have to travel to go to them, but they're usually free entry, and those have been such valuable pieces of nuggets for me in my own journey. I highly recommend anybody who's getting started. Number one, find yourself a good coach, because that's value added easily. You got to have a good coach. And then, you know, connecting with a good posing coach, and then plugging into the community, go volunteer at some of these shows, see how all the moving parts backstage, and you know, go to these posing workshops. And those are everything that I have done to kind of help plug myself in, become familiar with as familiar as I can be as a newbie in the industry, the shows, and you know, just learning, because I do love to learn. And any opportunity that I can get to kind of go to some of these events, volunteer, or, you know, I'm all for it. And that's probably been one of the best little blessings that I did for myself.
Yeah, and I want to bring this out because my friend Eunice, this was like a few years ago, right after my birthday. It was like, I think it was like it's 2023, and I just turned 49 that year. And she sent me and said, George, I'm sending you something in the mail. What is this? And what is it? You'll see it. It's this issue of Must Develop with Andre on the cover. And what makes it so sweet about this, and as my other guy says, Christina, when you're good at something, never do it for free. And for me, this is my payment. When I have people like ladies who I've known who send me some stuff like this, when the champ tells me she thanks me for my support.
Ooh, look at that, George. Look at that.
I know I need to keep it in case something like that. I know, but I love it. I hug it. I call it George. But, you know, it's just amazing ladies that are in this sport. Like, other than Sandy, who really that you like when you got the opportunity to meet, you know, or you like to meet in this future?
Oh my God. I've also gotten to meet Sid Gillian a couple times. So, I mean, that's been incredible. Obviously, when you meet the top of the top, you know, it doesn't get more starstruck than that. So, you know, meeting Sid, Andrea Shaw, talking to her a couple times. I mean, she is so incredibly down to earth too. Oh my gosh. I mean, she talks to you like she's your friend. It's incredible.
Yeah, and they're both beautiful too.
Yeah.
It's a show and party. So, you know, and you know, it's great. The amazing women that like I remember when we went to Savannah, I got to meet Alina Popa. I mean, you know, it was you know, just amazing lady. A friend of mine was working with her as a coach. Sheena Olick, a lady I also met. Irene Anderson,
Hold on.
yeah.
We got to mute the broadcast. I got to go use the restroom real quick.
Go ahead. So, folks, she's going to use the restroom quick because she's been drinking water all day. So, folks, what I'm going to do is if I was looking for that video, and I think I'm going to pull it up if I can find it. It's here. I know I saw it. It's here. It's here, folks. Give me a second. It was here. I saw that. There it is, folks. I'm going to pull it up for y'all to watch. It's really great. You know, her being at the here you go. Yeah, can't play the music, folks, but here she's on stage. You know, and it looks like it's a great experience, you know, hanging out with so many amazing women in sport, you know, and this was in Vegas, I believe.
Story about that one, that picture.
Yeah, what?
That guy helping me right there. So really cool about that is he was actually on the judging panel. He's an IFBB pro judge. His name is Louis Santa. So he was on the Max Fit panel, and it was a really big full circle moment for me, because when this video right here was actually the very first posing seminar that I went to. It is the Victory Posing Seminar that they hold up in, I believe it's Ashburn, Virginia. I think it's Ashburn, Virginia. And I mean, you get to meet, they have Andrea Shaw showed up at that one. They have pro level, you know, competitors at these events that's helping you kind of in your, you know, your posing. But Louis Santa, I had to follow up with him because being that seminar was like the start of where I was starting to get into competing, my full circle moment. And he also was on the judging panel for, I want to say, my Masters National. It was either, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. It was, I think, the year before, because I think last year he had already moved to Florida. So he actually judged me for my first national level show in 2024. And then, so not only did he judge me for my first national level show, now he judged me for my first pro level show as well. So we had a really cool story, and I got to send him that video you were just watching. I was like, I don't know if you remember, because obviously he meets a lot of competitors. So I got to send him that video. I said, but here you are working with me. And he's like, that is an incredible story to see how far you've come. And it was really cool. And those are all those little moments that I love looking at, because I've got so many little moments of people that God has put in my path, and where they fit into my story, whether it was them pouring life into me and being a mentor to me, to kind of help strengthen that mental fortitude. I mean, God aligned me with another fitness influencer. She's down in Virginia Beach. Her name's Ashley Horner. I'm not sure if you've heard of her.
No, I
She's
haven't.
competed a few times, but she's a really big fitness influencer down in Virginia Beach. And I actually used to, before getting into competing, trying to stay in good shape, I used to, join all of her, like her fitness challenges, and I would work through her training programs. And then I started to actually do some of her social media content stuff, and working very closely with her, we became very, very good friends. And she has absolutely no idea the level of influence and just the encouragement and empowerment and everything that woman has poured into me. I mean, it's propelled and strengthened my mindset to be able to keep running forward. So it's incredible when you see the people God aligns you with, and the part that they play in your story. You treasure those people and those things. I mean, I hold them very close to my heart, because they mean a lot. This journey means a lot to me, and the help that they've instilled into me means a lot to me.
Well, if you have a link you want to share, and maybe I'm not interested to have her on as a guest also in the future, I love the opportunity to hear her stance on bodybuilding and talk about what she thinks about the sport, and also, her influence as a fitness influencer. Because this channel is about giving the opportunity. Like, I would love to have Andrea on here someday. And yeah, and I've even had people like the Taekwondo. She a couple of times came into my live. I wanted to come on, but I don't know what happened. Maybe I don't know if it's her or maybe somebody who runs her YouTube. But she has supported my content in the past, and this is what it's about: to find something that really drives you in this sport. As people, there's going to be the yin and yang of the sport. Like, you hear stuff about the use of performance enhancers. We had a young man who passed away just a little bit after he competed at the show. Right now you have the former Miss Physique champion, Sarah Gilgis. Her husband. Yeah. I'm not trying to pitch that trash.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like this. It's like anything. Like, back in the day, wasn't that long ago? Like, one of the greatest baseball pitchers, Nolan Ryan, said, like, he had a history of strikeouts, but sometimes he always had to do something to give him a little edge. Like, he put a little oil on his on the ball so he can make it fly faster.
Yeah.
You do what you can do within reason and within legality to be the best at what you can be in whatever sport.
Yep. And that's honestly, in this industry, that's what people are doing, because you look at too with now how peptides are rolling out. So it's not just the standard typical performance enhancing drugs, but now you've also got these more, I like to call them more natural type of enhancements through peptides. And the peptide industry, I'm like, where have you guys been all my life? Because it's like, these are things that actually work with your human body to strengthen whatever peptide you're trying to get into. But the way it addresses our chronic health issues and people with weight loss journeys. I mean, there's so much out there now with peptides. It's like, who knows, maybe one day the PED usage will go away and people will just be using maybe more peptides.
Well, like I said, that's wishful thinking because you know what, this it's already has a foothold in the sport, and you know, natural bodybuilding because you wasn't OCB before, which is
Yeah.
a natural organization, and it's a lot harder to build muscle naturally because you're not taking any kind of peptides or any kind of performance enhancer.
Right.
You're doing it just by diet and being consistent and disciplined, and it takes, and you know what, it takes me be a natural competitor to me be 6 months to put on 7 pounds where when you're enhanced competitor, it might take you 6 weeks to put on that 7 pounds.
Right.
You know, it's a process. And I think what they talk about especially is how organizations like NPC and IFBB should also invest in the health and welfare of their athletes. Like most other sports, like the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, and hockey, this is a sport where which they don't, you know, they want to take, but don't give much back to the point. Only thing, hey, you got a pro car you keep up every year, but what's that at the end of the day?
Yeah, well, and what's that at the end of the day when you're, if you're sacrificing your health? And I think that there's different tiers of athletes who, at the end of the day, you've got to do what feels comfortable for you and what you can live with. That's why I invest in a really good coach because, every season we wrap up, it's like we're getting blood work done. So it's, if you're going to be enhanced, you've got to be smart about it too. You can't just ignore the possible red flags that could be going on in your body. And the only way you're going to know that is, getting the appropriate blood work done. So that way you can assess how you want your next season to go. Because if blood work don't look right, then there's no moving forward.
Yeah, and the thing is, and also for women, because as women, y'all are you're bearer of our children. You are the keeper of our homes. Your purpose in life is, to be as the
We're,
mother and wife, whatever else.
yep,
But
we're
as men, yeah, as men, our purpose in life is to battle, breed, and die. And and we're built for certain things. But this is why I talk about that. If you're someone who has a passion for something, and like I said, I talk to ladies who are in the 50s and 60s who started competing in bodybuilding. One lady I interviewed a while back, she turned pro when in her 70s and then competed as a pro. And this is a sport where you have to make that choice of what do you want out of it for yourself, how much you want to give, how much you want to push, and how much you want